Good morning, everybody. Another episode of the Keep Going podcast, athletes shining a light on mental health. That's all great and dandy, but David Mitchell is back in Illinois, safe and sound. David Mitchell, what's up, my guy?
What's up, P. O'Malley? How we doing today?
Good, man. Another Sunday wedding for Dave. Who's getting married, Dave?
We got a special friend, Brett Swalve,
Brett
podcast alum.
Swall. Wow, here we go. Another baseball guy getting married today. And of course, David Mitchell is here ready for the pod. I also got Coach Santi in the building. Sant, what's up, man?
What's up, P. O'Malley? How we doing?
I'm blessed, man. How you feeling today?
Doing great. Another great Sunday.
Yeah, man. You got all the MSOE colors on. We'll get into that. But I got to talk about baseball first and why you decided to take time out of a Sunday morning. Why'd you want to jump on today?
I think what you guys are doing is pretty special. I think it's very important, especially in today's world, especially with the athletes I'm dealing with, and it's a lot of a different time than when I played. So I think this podcast spreads a great message, and you're the man. So I had to hop on. I had to do it for you. So
I appreciate you, man. And I love you and what you're doing at MSOE and what you're doing in your community. And I think when you meet a guy like San, I met him a couple years ago now, which is crazy to think about. You just know this guy is in the business for the right reasons. Because as we know, Dave, being former college players, college coaches, it's not always like sunny right now in the world for student athletes. Talk about what you're seeing at MSOE in the mental health front.
yeah, I mean, honestly, I've been pleasantly surprised. I've obviously been fortunate enough to be at some bigger schools, and some higher level schools that have more resources. And our athletic training staff, specifically our head athletic trainer, has gone ahead and done every single thing possible to bring those resources here to our student athletes. So we actually had um, UWM's PhD program in psychology come here and do some sports mental health stuff throughout the year. And I did make one of them mandatory for the guys, and I really wanted the guys to buy into it, because a lot of guys hear mental health and think it's talking just about feelings and everything like that, but it also affects the performance side. It affects a lot of things outside of just how men are. It's tough to talk about the mental health side of things. So trying to encourage that for our guys. And a big word for us this year was vulnerability. So that was a huge part for myself, and not just the guys, but being vulnerable and being able to talk about how you feel, and what's on your mental every day. So our guys were all in on that.
No, I appreciate what you've done kind of in that field and making that a safe space for your athletes. I always talk to when we have elite coaches on here. Obviously, you guys came off a huge year at MSOE, kind of flipped the script on what the NAC has looked like the last couple of years. Do you think that was a big part of it, like being available for your student athletes, making it more than baseball?
Absolutely. A lot of people ask, like, "Oh man, great year! Like, what was the key and stuff like that?" And there was a specific moment in our season where I had to make a decision if I was going to make myself vulnerable to the team, to hear them criticize me as a person and as a coach. And it was literally just me in front of the whole team, and they let me know how they were feeling when we were going through a rough patch, and things that they wanted to see change. And that was a huge moment for me and for the team, I think. And we grew together, and we talked about it throughout the entire year. Just being able to be able to talk about tough conversations. A lot of these guys, they're nervous. I mean, it's tough to go to your coach and talk about things that you're uncomfortable with, or that you're feeling that might go against what he's thinking and stuff. And they were open and honest the whole year, and I think that was a huge proponent to our success, and why we were able to get as close as we were as a team.
Yeah, it always starts at the top. And once again, I appreciate you doing that for your guys. I think it paid dividends down the long stretch. Outside of MSOE, man, how did this
Yeah,
all get rolling for you, man? Like, when did baseball become a dream? What was the
yeah,
moment when you were like, okay, I'm here. Like, I'm going to do this for a long time?
yeah. I mean, it was crazy because I never really thought I was going to get into coaching. I literally remember the exact conversation and where I was at when my coach at Webster pulled me aside at our practice field on a random Tuesday or Wednesday afternoon, and was like, "Hey, I think you should think about coaching." And this was before even my senior season. This was like in the fall. Um, and I just kind of brushed it off and told them I'd think about it. And then, I was going through all these job interviews, and as a typical business major, they're all insurance, sales, life insurance, all this stuff. And finally, I was like, you know what, I'll give it a chance. So I went as a grad assistant to Quincy University,
Oh yeah.
and I was there as a GA, and my whole mental was I'm gonna get my master's paid for and then go work and make more money since I have a master's. And COVID hit, and I got my internship and making great money. And I was sitting at a cubicle, and there was nobody in the office because it was COVID and it was like hybrid for everybody. And I remember telling my mom, I was like, "There's no shot I'm doing this. I'm just gonna dive right into coaching." And it worked out, man. I mean, I went back to Quincy. I told them that I was gonna be all in on it, and I was fortunate enough to get um, the opportunity to go back to Webster as the head assistant, and things just rolled from there.
Yeah, man. And I think there's a certain kind of guy that can deal with the hustle and bustle, can deal with the ups and downs of college coaching. You mentioned prelude before the call about recruiting. When you're out
Yeah.
on the road, man, what are you looking for in these athletes? Like, what is the okay? He's a Raider guy. Like, what does that stick out
Yeah.
for you?
The toughest part about recruiting is you don't know the kids, so you're initially recruiting them just based off their athletic ability, right? Pitch ability, projectability, hit tool, all that stuff. But what's really important to us in our program is making sure that they fit our family, right? That they're going to fit into the locker room, they're going to fit into the culture. They come from a good family. They come from good programs, good high school programs, good travel programs. People always say, like, why don't you branch out, recruit? Well, when you build trust with people and you know what kind of kid you're getting, that's an easier fit and an easier time for me to recruit them, because I know what kind of player they're going to come from in terms of the program. And you're from Chicago, you know how it goes, man. Those Catholic school kids in the Catholic League, they're built tough, they're built a little bit different. And then I got to give a shout out to my public school guys. That's another grind for them, and getting it out the mud, as we like to say. So I like to go to the same people, same programs, but also building new connections out there too when you're recruiting. So there a lot goes into it when you're recruiting these guys.
No doubt. And I would tell you too, Sant, knowing you, man, it's a lot of energy. It's a lot of, hey, if you're going to sign into this expectation standard, I need it every day. I need it. We got to
Yeah.
go. Has it always been that way? I got to ask you your keep going moment, man. Like, what was a time where maybe it wasn't all happiness, it wasn't all good, maybe would have knocked you down a little bit? How'd you get
Yeah.
through it? What was your keep going moment?
Um, I tell all my players about this. They all think as a coach you had it figured out when you played and stuff. And it took me 4 years to actually figure it out on the mound and have success at a high level. So for 3 years, my first 3 years of college, I was the wear your emotions on the sleeve guy, always hyped up too early in a game, and then the game humbles you, right? So multiple times I got humbled. I'll talk about it every time. My sophomore season of junior college at Oakton, I think I was like 0-6 with two saves. My stats weren't great. I gave up I came out of the game with the winning run on second base, and we ended up losing, and our season ended. And I remember going into my coach's office and telling him, "Yeah, I'm hanging him up. I'm just gonna go to school."
Tell me that interview. Who was that with Billy? Who was that with?
Yeah, that was with Bill
With Billy.
Frado.
Shout out to
Yeah.
Billy. First time on the podcast. Shout out Bill Frado. Wow, that was really overdue for me. I obviously played for Billy for people that don't know.
Yeah.
Go ahead, son.
Yeah. So told Billy Frado that I wasn't gonna play, and they were kind of like, all right, man, well, if you need anything, let us know. And then he called me one day and was like, hey, you're gonna go to the unsigned senior sophomore showcase at Triton. And I went, and that's where Webster saw me. And they gave me a call, and I was leaving to Wyoming for summer baseball of all places. And I was like, yeah, I'll let you know. And I waited, and I came back like July 20th. It was late July, and I went on a visit and loved the place, and got there. And it wasn't all sunshine and rainbows there either. My first year, it was a really tough go. And I tell everybody the changing moment for me in how I competed was watching the kid from Louisville pitch against Vanderbilt in the College World Series, where he said "F you" to the team in the eighth inning, and then the ninth inning came and he blew it. And after that moment, I tell everybody, you got to wait till out 27 to talk your stuff, man. Like, because the game's always going to come back and humble you. And after that, my senior year, that was literally what I did. I kept it all inside until the last inning and last out. And sometimes I had to get dragged off that mound a little bit earlier to after the last out. But yeah, man, I mean that was definitely my keep going moment, was that humbling moment of junior college through.
I got the chills, man. I think it's always a cool story. And this is for all the athletes that are listening today, and even for the coaches. You were a second away from giving all this up.
Yeah.
And now I look at it and I'm like, I don't know you unless you talk to Billy that day, unless you take that phone call, unless you go to Webster. You know, it's crazy what that one domino effect led to. How about for guys? I'm going to go to David next. We got a new segment I'm rolling out today, for you. So we're going to roll it out next.
Yeah.
But what I want to tell the audience, I want to ask you is that one choice, man, meant a lot for athletes
Yeah.
and coaches that are on that line of maybe giving this up, or maybe they're giving up something else. What would you say to them?
Yeah, I mean, it literally comes down to one moment, and it literally could change your life. And it's funny that you bring this up because I've probably never really put that into perspective until talking about it right now. Like, I haven't talked about that moment of almost quitting or telling Billy Frado I was quitting since probably that moment happened, right? But you got to have confidence. I believe there's always a divine sign of something that's gonna really make you have that innate feeling whether you should or shouldn't do something, right? And you got to go with that gut feeling, and you got to go all in. There is no dip your toe in, test it out. That you're either in or you're out, and that's how I am with everything I do. And I always tell my guys that, and I encourage people to kind of live that way. Like, if you're gonna do something, you might as well go all the way out and do it all the way. So you have no regrets. You look back and you say, well, I gave it 110%. And if it works out, great. If it didn't, well, on to the next thing. And you really have no regrets in terms of your effort and stuff and what you did.
If you're a student athlete, I'm going to go to Dave in a second. If you're a student athlete on here today, how do you not want to run through a damn wall for this guy right now? Like, I'm calling Billy after this and see if he's get my red shirt year back. I might come for one more. I'm fired up. I'm loving this. All right, we're gonna roll someone out, and I'm hoping Dave's Wi-Fi is good. We're gonna roll out D Mitch's mailbag this week. I'm gonna have Mitch just throw questions at you. Son, you answer them the best you can, okay?
I got you.
Go ahead, Dave.
Yeah, we've covered a lot today. And you've been through a lot, I can tell. What's the best advice you've heard?
Man, the best advice. So I started our season off with this quote, and it's been something that I've held with me since I heard it when I think I was maybe a sophomore or junior in college, and it was procrastination is the assassination of your destination. And that's something I literally said to the team in the first team huddle. And I always took it as why wait to be great in a sense. And that was some of the best advice I had gotten. You don't have to wait to go all in. You don't have to wait to give your best effort. And you don't have to wait to really show everybody what you're about and what your message is to everybody. So that's been a big thing I've carried with me for my entire career for sure.
Yeah, I've never heard that. Go ahead, Dave.
Ah, I love that. I love that. You're one decision away from changing your life. And you may have been thinking about it for a while, and it's probably the right decision. Just jump in and do it and have the courage. I love it. What really matters to you at the end of the day?
Relationships. In my job, it's always about relationships for me. Um, it's tough to see that sometimes when you're in the heat of the moment on the field or training or at practice and stuff. But relationships with my players and making sure that they know that I love and care about them as people first, and making sure that they're better versions of themselves 4 years down the road from when they first step on campus. That's what's most important to me at the end of the day. The trophies and everything, that's great, but the relationships last forever. As you just said, you're going to a wedding, I believe, for one of your former teammates or a former baseball player. And this is my big year. I've got like 8 weddings for former teammates this year, right? And that's when we go to those things, all we do is reminisce on the good times, on what we did, all the dumb things we did in college and stuff. And I want that same experience for my guys. And I tell recruits about that. I tell my guys about that. Like, we still have a fantasy football group chat of all my
Love
guys
that.
I played college baseball with, and we meet up in a new city every year to do a draft in a dynasty league that's literally 3 rounds. It's just an excuse for us to get together, right? And
Right.
that's what it's all about for me, is making sure that these guys understand that these relationships, these moments, they don't last forever, and you got to take advantage of it. But the moments don't last forever. The relationships do, and that's what's important to me at the end of the day.
Yeah, man. I love that. And that's a blessing to hear you speak that way, because obviously I get married here in October, and 5 of my guys up there I played with, you
Yeah,
know? And it's crazy. And I tell people that on webinars all the time and other podcasts, like, you don't know what those late night McDonald's runs mean. Like, you don't know what, like, going to Rockford football games are going to mean. Like, seeing your
not at
buddies,
all.
you don't know until
Yeah,
you're sitting around and you're looking like, dang, I got to pick my boys. I got to pick my people. It's all the people that you got in the trenches with prior. And I think that's a beautiful
yeah.
thing. I got one more thing for you, son. I'll get you back to your Sunday. I think we got Dave jumping back in. Beautiful. I got one more question for you, man.
Hmm.
On a podcast like this, you speak to a lot of ears, man.
Yeah.
What do you want to be remembered for? And the last part of that question would be, when it's all said and done, man, what's your lasting image?
Um, I hope I'm remembered for more than just winning. I hope I'm remembered for the impact I have on my players. And the lasting image hopefully is for these guys, us dogpiling, us hugging, us celebrating big wins, but us also having that tough conversation, like that moment that we had as a team this season, where we were all talking and emotions were flying everywhere and stuff like that. And they're able to look back and be like, well, our coach was able to expose himself, his flaws, and be open to fixing stuff and making adjustments on the fly to make our experience better, and to make sure that we were getting the most out of ourselves. One of the things this year that really hit home for me was we had our version of the ESPYS here, and our players that were in the SAC group, the Student Athlete Committee, wrote
Mm-hmm.
these little paragraphs for nominations of the coaches, which actually Cantu won Assistant Coach of the Year. So
Shout
the
out the
guys
boy.
love,
Shout out
yeah,
Jared. He's been on
the
here. Yep.
yeah, the guys loved him. But they wrote some really nice stuff, and one of the things they said was that I got the most out of my guys and got the most out of my players, and I hope that's always a part of it, and I hope they realize it's not just baseball wise. I hope that the tenacity, the energy I bring to the field translates to them, and they're able to bring that in their everyday life. And I hope that's how I'm remembered and seen for the rest of my career, as long as this may go.
Son, this is an all-timer today, man. I felt like literally we could have been chopping up in somebody's basement right now, live, like doing this. And that's
No
how it
doubt.
should be. It's authentic. This guy went into his season saying vulnerability, that vulnerable piece. And you're hearing this for 30 minutes today. So for everybody on here, run this back, get the most out of this. Just an amazing time spent on this Sunday morning, son. This guy is a ball player. This guy is a mentor, a coach, someone that has flipped the knack over with. And unfortunately, I got to cheer for a lot of different teams in the knack. So I will give MSOE love anytime I talk about this program. Son,
I
it's been an
appreciate that,
absolute
man.
blessing, man. It's been an absolute blessing. Thanks for coming on, man.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me, both of you guys, and keep doing what you're doing. It means something to everybody, and you never know what it could do for somebody that just comes across the podcast. So keep doing what you're doing, man. Love it.
Hey, amen, man. I appreciate you. It's all about the guest. Dave, sign us out with a keep going, kid.
Thanks, Sean. Thanks for coming on here. You've impacted so many people, and you're going to do great things. And just meeting you here for the first time, you're really, truly an authentic person, and that means a lot. Thank
I
you for
appreciate
coming
it,
on,
Dave.
and always keep going.
Baby, I love it, man. Keep going. KG all around. And the JUCO guys got after it this morning. So we love it, man. We
Yes,
appreciate
sir.
it.
JUCO Bandits.
You know it, baby. Have a good rest of your Sunday, guys.
Appreciate you guys.